Grandma left you the beach house by mistake, my sister announced at the lawyer's office. Sign it over. She meant it for my kids. Mom nodded. Do the right thing. I smiled. Signed. Then pulled out Grandma's real will from 2023. My uncle, the actual lawyer, said, this changes everything. When they realized what I'd inherited, my sister Kayla said it like she was announcing a weather update. Grandma left you the beach house by mistake, she told me, leaning forward across the conference table. Sign it over. She meant it for my kids. The probate attorney's office in uptown Dallas smelled like lemon cleaner and expensive coffee. There was a framed photo of someone's golden retriever on the wall, like that counted as warmth. My mom nodded immediately. Do the right thing, William. I blinked once. My mouth went dry. Noah, my 6-year-old, was in the chair beside me with his little backpack on his lap. He was quietly counting the holes in the acoustic ceiling tiles like it was a game you play when adults get weird. The attorney, Mr. Patel, according to the nameplate, looked between us like he'd rather be anywhere else. Kayla slid a folder toward me. It's simple. Just sign the family settlement agreement. We already filled in the address. I glanced down, and my brain did this cold math thing it does in emergencies. A small beach house on Seaglass Drive in Surfside Beach, Grandma's place. The one with the warped deck board she always warned us about. I said, you're telling me Grandma wrote a will, left me the house, and you think it was an accident? Kayla's smile was sharp. She was 87. She got confused. You know how she was at the end. She wasn't confused, I said. Mom's voice stayed soft, which was always her trick. William, honey, don't make this a scene. Who said I was making a scene? Kayla huffed like I was being dramatic for breathing. You don't even live down there. You're a pilot. You're gone half the month. My kids would actually use it. Mr. Patel cleared his throat. The document presented is dated June 12, 2018. It does list William Carter as the devise of the Surfside Beach property. Mom jumped in fast, and he's going to do the right thing. Noah's fingers tightened on his backpack zipper. He didn't look up. He just got very still. I turned to my mom. Define right thing. She didn't hesitate. You sign it over. Family helps family, Kayla added. Plus, Grandma always said she wanted something for the little ones. She meant my twins. I stared at the page where my name was printed in clean legal font like it belonged to someone else. William James Carter Devisey. My hands went cold under the table. My leg bounced once then stopped. I forced it still. Where did you get this? I asked. Kayla shrugged. Mom had it. Grandma kept everything at her house anyway. Mom smiled like that answered everything. Mr. Patel slid a pen toward me. This agreement would need to be executed properly and filed with the court. But yes, your signature would indicate you're disclaiming your interest in the property. Kayla's eyes stayed on the pen like it was candy. Mom said, please don't be selfish. Noah whispered, barely audible, Dad. I reached over and squeezed his knee once. A quiet check-in. I'm here. Then I looked up at Kayla and my mom, and the strangest thing happened. I smiled. Not happy, not friendly, just calm. Sure, I said. Let's do it. Kayla's shoulders loosened, like she just wants something. Mom exhaled, relieved. Good. I picked up the pen. I signed. I didn't scream. I didn't argue. I just said, can I get a copy of everything we signed today? I'm William. I'm 36. I fly a 737 out of DFW, which means my life runs on checklists, timestamps, and the kind of calm voice you use when people panic. At 30,000 feet, I live in Dallas, Texas. I'm also a dad. Emma is 9. Noah is 6. Their mom and I split when Noah was 2. Nothing dramatic, just 2 people realizing fine isn't the same as healthy. My family, though, my family runs on drama with a polite label slapped on it. My mom's favorite phrase is keep it smooth. Kayla's favorite phrase is, it's not a big deal. And Grandma Evelyn Carter was the only person who ever looked at me and said, you're not crazy. They just benefit when you doubt yourself. She bought the Surfside Beach house in 2009, back when you could still find something small near the water without selling a kidney. She called it her salt air reset. 2 bedrooms, 1 bath, sun-faded shutters, and a kitchen table that wobbled unless you jammed a folded napkin under one leg. When Emma was little, Grandma would let her help wash seashells in the sink. Emma would line them up by size like it mattered. Noah just tried to eat sand because he's Noah. Kayla hated that Grandma liked my kids. She never said it out loud, but it lived in her face. The pattern wasn't subtle. It was just consistent. Incident 1 was July 2021. I was on reserve, exhausted, and I stopped by Mom's house to pick up Emma after a sleepover. Emma came out quiet, clutching her little unicorn backpack. In the car, she said, and Kayla said, "My iPad is too nice for me." I asked, "What happened?" Emma stared at her hands. She took it. She said her twins needed it for learning apps. Grandma bought it for me, but Kayla said Grandma didn't understand what kids need now. When I walked back inside and asked for it, Kayla did the reasonable voice cruelty thing. "William, don't freak out. It's just an iPad." "It's Emma's," I said. Mom stood behind her like a backup singer. "Kayla's having a hard time. Be flexible." I swallowed it. I bought Emma another case. I told myself it was temporary. It wasn't. Incident 2 was October 2022, when Grandma fell and broke her wrist. She was angry about it, which was how you knew she was still herself. I flew in from a Phoenix turn and went straight to the rehab facility in Plano. Grandma had her glasses on and a notebook open like she was doing taxes. She said, "Kayla's been asking questions." "What kind of questions?" "The kind where she thinks if she says it sweetly, it's not rude." Grandma's eyes narrowed. She asked me to put things in writing for the twins. I asked, "Did you?" Grandma snorted. I told her, "I'm not dead yet." 2 days later, Kayla texted me. "Kayla, Mom says Grandma's finances are a mess. You should stay out of it." "Kayla, you don't understand elder stuff, Kayla. Also, Grandma said you're the executive. That's not fair." I screenshotted, because again, pilot brain. If it isn't documented, it didn't happen. Then there was Incident 3, March 2023. Grandma called me at 6:14 a.m. Her voice was flat. "William, did you authorize a change of address?" I sat up in bed. "No, my mail is going to your mother's house," she said. "Medical, bank, everything." I drove over there after my shift. Mom acted offended that I was even asking. "Oh, Evelyn probably clicked something online." She said, "We're just helping." Grandma stood in the hallway holding a printed USPS confirmation like a weapon. She looked at my mom and said, "I didn't click anything." "You did." Mom smiled. "Didn't move. Don't be dramatic." Grandma turned to me and said, "Take me to the bank." At Wells Fargo in Lakewood. The teller confirmed the address change was done in person. In person? Someone had stood there with ID and moved Grandma's life into my mother's mailbox. Grandma's hand shook as she signed the reversal form. Not fear, rage. In the car, she said quietly, "If anything happens to me, they will try to take what I leave your kids." I said, "Then don't leave anything. Spend it. Travel. Burn it on cruise ship. Bingo." She actually laughed. Then she said, "No, I'm going to do it correctly, and I'm going to do it in writing they can't smooth away." That summer, she asked me to drive her to my uncle's office. Uncle Ray is her younger brother. He's a lawyer, not the TV kind. The actual kind who keeps paper copies and is safe. Grandma walked in with a folder and said, "I want a new will. 2023, and I want it clean." Uncle Ray looked at me once and said, "William, you can wait outside." Grandma waved me off. "No, he stays." That was the first time I saw my mom's control slip around Grandma. Grandma didn't fight. She just decided. I thought it would be enough. I thought a sign was a locked door. I was wrong. Grandma died on April 18th, 2024. A Thursday. I remember because I was in a hotel room in Denver, uniform pants on the chair, alarm set for 4:30 a.m. Mom called at 11:03 p.m. "Your grandmother passed peacefully," she said. And somehow even death sounded like a performance. I flew home the next day. I picked up Emma and Noah first because whatever my family was about to do, my kids didn't need to be alone in it. At the funeral, Kayla cried loud. Mom cried quietly. The twins, Kayla's boys, ran around the fellowship hall like it was Chuck E. Cheese. Emma stood next to me, holding Noah's hand. She didn't cry until we got in the car. She asked, "Are we still going to the beach house?" I said, "We'll see." 2 weeks later, the pressure started. Wave 1 was private phone calls that began with "I just want to talk" and ended with "Why are you being like this?" Mom texted me at 7:26 a.m. on a Monday. We need to keep things smooth. Kayla is struggling. The twins deserve stability." Kayla sent a voice memo. "You're always gone well. You want to hoard a house you never use? Grandma would hate that." I didn't respond. I saved it. Then Wave 2 hit. Practical harm. The kind that shows you the plan. On May 9th, I got an email from Surfside Beach Dunes HOA. Subject: Unauthorized short-term rental listing. I read it twice, then I clicked the link. It opened a VBO listing. Cozy family beach house. Walk to the sand. Sleep 6. The photos were Grandma's living room, Grandma's floral couch, Emma's old shell picture still taped crooked on the wall. The host name Kawar. My mouth went dry again. Same feeling as the lawyer's office, like my body recognized a threat before my brain finished the sentence. I called Kayla. She answered cheerful. "Hey, why is Grandma's house on VBO?" I asked. She didn't miss a beat to help with expenses. "What expenses?" "Probate." "Duh. You don't own it." I said. Kayla laughed. "Relax. Mom said it's fine." I said, "Take it down." Her voice sharpened. "Don't do this. You're overreacting." I hung up. I didn't yell. I didn't need to. I opened a folder on my laptop called Carter Probate and started dropping in receipts like I was building a case file for a crash investigation. Screenshots of the listing, the HOA email with the date, time, Kayla's voice memo, Mom's keep it smooth texts. Then I drove to Mom's house and asked one simple question. "Where is Grandma's original will?" Mom blinked like I'd asked where she hid the moon. "I don't know." I said, "Show me the safe." She smiled. "William, please don't accuse me of things." I didn't accuse. I just repeated, "Show me the safe." She refused. She turned it into respect. She turned it into grief. Kayla showed up, arms crossed, already angry. "You can't just barge in here," she said. I looked at her. "Where are the keys to the beach house?" Kayla's eyes flicked left like her body answered before her mouth did. "Why do you need them?" "Because someone is renting it out," I said calm. "And it's not you." Mom stepped between us, soft voice on. "Honey, we're handling it." "You're handling it by listing it online?" I asked. Kayla snapped. "It's for the twins." Emma was behind me in the doorway. She wasn't crying. She was just watching. That quiet, careful-faced kids were when they're learning the rules of who matters. Noah tugged my shirt and whispered, "Can we go home?" That moment did something to me. I felt it click. I asked Kayla, "What's the address on the listing?" She rolled her eyes. "Why say it?" I said she didn't. Mom said, "Stop interrogating her." I nodded once. "Okay." That's when I stopped arguing and started documenting. I called the HOA back and asked for the complaint file. I requested a copy of the access logs from the smart lock Grandma had installed last year because Grandma was paranoid in the smartest way. I pulled my bank statements because Grandma had been sending small deposits to my kids' 529 plans, and I wanted to see if anything changed near the end. And I called Uncle Ray. He didn't say, "I'm sorry." He didn't say families are complicated. He said, "Do you have the 2023 will?" I swallowed. "I don't." There was a pause. "Then I do." My skin went cold. Why didn't anyone use it? Uncle Ray's voice went flat. "Because someone filed the 2018 one first." I stared at my kitchen wall like it might crack open and reveal the logic. "How?" I asked, he said. "Because they had access to her papers, and they assumed nobody would challenge it." I looked down at Emma, who was doing homework at the table, erasing the same math problem over and over like she couldn't make her hand move. "Right?" I said, "They're trying to take it." Uncle Ray said, "Then we don't have a family conversation. We have a legal one." He told me to meet him. The next morning at his office, he handed me a sealed envelope with his letter head across the flap. He had me open it in front of him. Inside was Grandma's 2023 will signed, witnessed, notarized, and a separate page titled Letter of Intent. Grandma's handwriting was firm. If you are reading this, it means I am gone and someone's trying to rewrite me. I exhaled through my nose. My hands were shaking but small controlled. Uncle Ray said, "Bring this to the probate attorney's meeting." I asked the one Mom scheduled. He nodded. "Yes, let them walk into it." I stared at the documents like they were oxygen. Uncle Ray added, "And William, don't warn them." I didn't. I let them believe their story was airtight. We went back to Mr. Patel's office on May 28, 2024. Tuesday. Same lemon cleaner, same golden retriever photo, pretending the room wasn't about to implode. Kayla was practically glowing. Mom sat beside her with that calm smile that always meant she thought she'd already won. Mr. Patel laid out the paperwork again. "We're here to finalize the disclaimer and file the family settlement agreement." Kayla said, "Told you it'd be easy. Emma was with my ex that day, but Noah came with me because my child care had fallen through." He sat in the corner with his crayons, drawing a plane with way too many windows. Mr. Patel looked at me. "William, we just need your initials on page 3, and then we can proceed with filing." I nodded. "Okay." Kayla leaned over and whispered loud enough for everyone, "Thank you for not being difficult." Mom patted my hand like I was a dog who finally learned sit. And that's when I pulled my envelope out of my bag. Not dramatic, just paper. I set it on the table. Mr. Dr. Patel blinked. "What's that?" I said, "Grandma's real will, 2023. Kayla's smile froze like someone hit pause. Mom's eyes narrowed. "William, what are you doing?" I kept my voice even, clarifying. Mr. Patel reached for it, then stopped. "Is this a man in a navy suit stepped in from the side door, gray hair, no-nonsense face?" "Uncle Ray." He didn't look at Mom. He looked at Mr. Patel. "I'm Raymond Carter," he said. "Evelyn's brother. I drafted and executed her 2023 will. I'm also an attorney licensed in Texas." Kayla stood up so fast, her chair squeaked. "Why is he here?" Uncle Ray didn't raise his voice. "Because fraud tends to happen when nobody with a license is in the room." Mom snapped. "Excuse me." Uncle Ray opened the envelope and slid the wool toward Mr. Patel. "Page 4. He said, read the bequests." Mr. Patel adjusted his glasses and read silently. His face changed in real time. He cleared his throat. "This document revokes prior wills." Kayla's voice went thin. "No, it doesn't." Mr. Patel kept reading. "Surfside Beach property devised to William James Carter, in trust for the benefit of his children, Emma Carter and Noah Carter." Noah looked up at his name like he'd heard it in a cartoon. Mom's mouth tightened. "In trust." Uncle Ray said, "Yes, a children's trust with William as trustee." Kayla barked. "That's basically the same thing. Just give it to me." Uncle Ray finally looked at her. "No." He tapped the next page. "And here's the part you didn't anticipate." Mr. Patel read again slower. "Any person who contests this will or who knowingly presents an earlier revoked instrument forfeits any interest they might otherwise receive." Kayla's face went pale. "I wasn't getting anything anyway." Uncle Ray nodded. "Correct. You weren't." Mom's voice rose. "Evelyn would never." Uncle Ray cut in calm but sharp. "She did, because she knew you." The room went silent in that heavy way like an engine shutting off. Kayla's hand shook. "Mom, say something." Mom stared at the will like it was an insult. This is cruel." I said no. "This is specific." Mr. Patel swallowed. "Mr. Carter, if this will is valid, the agreement we discussed." Uncle Ray answered for him. "It's void. It was based on a revoked 2018 will. You also now have noticed that the 2018 will was presented despite being revoked, which creates complications." Kayla turned on me, eyes wild. "You signed. You already signed." I looked at her. "I signed an agreement. You pressured me into using a document you weren't supposed to be using." Mom hissed. "William, you're tearing this family apart." I didn't move. I didn't yell. I said one sentence clear and flat. You will not have access to my kids' inheritance. Kayla lunged for the papers. Uncle Ray slid them back like he'd done this before. Mr. Patel sat up straighter. Given this, I need to pause filing and consult. Uncle Ray said, no pause. We filed the 2023 will today right now, and we create a record that this meeting occurred. Mom stood. You can't. Uncle Ray looked at her. Watch me. Kayla's phone buzzed on the table. I saw the screen. A notification from VBO. Your listing is at risk of removal due to complaint. Receipts arriving on time. Mr. Patel asked, do you have documentation of the listing? I slid my folder across the table. Screenshots, complaint dates, and the lock log showing Kayla accessed the house 3 times last week. Kayla's breath hitched. You tracked me. I documented you. I corrected. Mom's face finally cracked. William, please. I didn't negotiate reality. Uncle Ray turned to Mr. Patel. I want a case number for the amended filing. Mr. Patel nodded, already typing, and that was the irreversible step. We filed Grandma's 2023 will into the record that day. Before we left the office, Uncle Ray also handed Mr. Patel a simple letter, notice to cease and desist. No more listings, no more access, no more speaking for my kids. Kayla followed us into the hallway, voice shaking. You're doing this over a house. I looked back at her. I'm doing this over my children, I said. Then I walked out. 2 days later, I drove to Surfside with Emma and Noah. I didn't tell my mom. I didn't tell Kayla. I brought a locksmith. I brought a new smart lock. I brought copies of the filed will and Uncle Ray's letter in a folder on the passenger seat like a seatbelt. Emma climbed out of the car and just stood there staring at the house. It smells the same, she said quietly when we opened the door. Salt, old wood, and Grandma's lavender soap. Noah ran straight to the window and pressed his forehead to the glass. Oh, he whispered like it was a secret. The locksmith changed the locks while my kids walked room to room, touching things like they were making sure this was real. Emma found Grandma's crocheted blanket folded on the couch. She hugged it to her chest and didn't say anything for a full minute. Then she asked, are they mad? I crouched in front of her. Probably, she swallowed. Are we in trouble? No, I said. We're safe. That night, we ordered pizza and ate at a Grandma's wobbly kitchen table with a folded napkin under the leg, because some things don't need fixing. Noah fell asleep on the couch mid-MOV. Emma sat beside me, feet tucked under her, and said, Grandma wanted us here. I know, I said. Back in Dallas, Mom tried her last tactic. She showed up at my door with a store-bought bundt cake and the voice she uses when she wants to erase what happened. Let's not make permanent decisions while we're emotional. She said, I didn't invite her in. I said, this isn't emotional. This is documented. She blinked hard. William, you're punishing us. I'm protecting my kids. I said, Kayla tried to. She sent a long text at 1:12 a.m. Kayla, I hope you're happy, Kayla. You always think you're better than us because you're a pilot and you have your life together. Kayla, the twins cried when I told them. Kayla, Grandma would be ashamed. I stared at it for a second. Then I replied with one sentence. William, any communication goes through Uncle Ray. Then I muted the thread. A week later, Emma came home from school and held up a drawing. It was the beach house with stick figures outside. Grandma was there too, drawn bigger than life, smiling. Emma said, I know she's not here, but I like pretending she is. I nodded. Me too. My new normal is quiet. My kids have a future that doesn't depend on my mom's mood or my sister's entitlement. The trust is set up. The house is in it. The income, if we ever rent it, goes to Emma and Noah, not to anyone who thinks family means access. People always ask if I feel guilty. I don't, because guilt is what you feel when you did something wrong. All I did was stop letting other people rewrite my kids' lives. My mom can call it selfish if she wants. Kayla can call it cruel if she needs to. I call it a boundary, and it stays. I'm not available for that. This story is about the moment you realize the word family has been turned into a pressure tool, and the clear, steady certainty that comes when you finally choose your children over the people trying to minimize them. William isn't theatrical. He's a pilot. He lives by checklists, documentation, and the kind of calm you use when other people's safety depends on your decisions. For years, he tolerated the constant nudges and guilt because he believed that's what a good son does. Swallow the tension. Keep the peace. Don't make it a thing. His mother called that keeping things smooth. His sister called it not being difficult. Grandma quietly called it what it was, conditioning him to doubt himself so others could take more. The beach house was never the real headline. It was a symbol of something deeper. Whether William's children mattered as much as his sister's convenience. His mother and Kayla didn't just want the property. They wanted to reshape Grandma's final act of love into proof that William's kids were negotiable. That old 2018 will wasn't an innocent mix-up. Someone knew Grandma had updated her will in 2023. Someone still pushed the earlier version forward, betting William would be too polite, too tired, too trained to push back. They counted on him signing away his children's inheritance because families shouldn't fight. They misread him. William's strength was quiet discipline. He didn't argue in the first meeting. He signed, smiled, and let them believe they'd won. While he did what he always does under pressure, verify, document, and prepare screenshots, access logs, HOA records, voice notes, a timeline that turned vague accusations into concrete facts. When he returned with Uncle Ray and the real will, it wasn't about payback. It was about clarity meeting consequences. And his mother's line, "You're tearing this family apart," revealed the whole structure. The family only felt together when William absorbed the impact in silence. The moment he protected his children's future, he was labeled the problem. That's not connection. That's control. What this story shows, family is not permission to rewrite reality or trade away your children's future. Calm isn't weakness. Sometimes it's strategy, especially when facts matter. The people most upset by boundaries are often the ones who benefited from you having none.